We are live and welcome back. It is Christine Horonic, food scientist and chemical engineer. Today we're talking about the risks associated with crash dieting. So I want to welcome you all back to the channel. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful January. We are at January 24th and I am actually on day 10 of the 6-week New Year's challenge. And I want to talk to you guys specifically today about risks associated with crash dieting. So there is a lot of incentive for folks to want to pursue fat loss fast. I feel like by the time somebody has their mind made up that they want to lose weight, that they are typically very frustrated. They are typically in a headspace that is very desperate, almost irritated, and just over it. Like when you get to the point when you are just over it, you're over feeling sluggish, you're over your clothes not fitting, you are just over not liking the way your body looks naked, there is so much temptation to approach fat loss rapidly. And what I want to do today is I want to talk to you guys about the risks associated with that. I want to talk about practical solutions as alternatives, and I want to discuss with you guys a real strategy that's going to make real sense for you, for your life, for your health, and for your future. So if you have joined the live stream, I want to welcome you. I ask you guys to please give us a thumbs up here on the channel. Let me know that you are here. And please comment where you are from. I always love to know where my subscribers are from. So with that being said, it's Christine Horonic, food scientist and chemical engineer. I'm the owner and founder of gaugegirltraining, which is an online meal planning and coaching service, as well as the owner and founder of Gauge Life Nutrition Supplements, which is an all-natural supplement brand. Hey, Rachel, and greetings from Indiana. So with that being said, my friends, if you are of the all or nothing mindset, if you have a tendency to be very black and white about things, and when you decide you want to do something, you're on a mission and nothing or no one can stop you, I get it because I've been there, and I want to present to you guys a much better approach. I think that when you approach fat loss from a rapid perspective, meaning you're going to lose it as fast as humanly possible, the number one thing you need to be aware of is that you are going to lose the joy of food. I'm going to repeat that. You're going to lose the joy of food. Who has ever been there where you're following a protocol? I remember when I was in high school, I once did the cabbage soup diet, and I probably lasted about 3 days. I was absolutely miserable. It was terrible. And when you get yourself so locked in on some of these plans that will provide rapid results, you're going to be missing out on the joy of food. Now, this is something that you really need to take into consideration because that can be hard for some of us. I truly believe that food, and I think that when we start to get into this headspace where we're like, okay, food that I like is bad, food that I don't like is good, and it starts to put really bad labels on things, and it can make it very challenging to have a healthy relationship with food after your fat loss phase is over. And that's definitely something that we do not want, especially these days with all of the new weight loss drugs and medications that are coming out on the market, where, for example, Ozempic, which is based off of the chemistry of semaglutide, what ends up happening is that slows gastric emptying. And as a result of that, your body feels substantially fuller off of a lot less calories than you would typically need. And as a result of that, your enjoyment of food is going to change. Your overall relationship with food is going to change. And what I think is so important is to remember that you can still incorporate foods that you love, foods that you enjoy, foods that make you happy. There's nothing wrong with including food that makes you happy. And if you guys are just joining this broadcast, I want to welcome you. Christine Horonic, food scientist and chemical engineer, and today we're talking about the risks associated with crash dieting. And one of them, again, this is really basic, this isn't even really sciencey, It's just the fact that you're going to be missing out on food you love. And as a result of that, your long-term sustainability is going to be limited. So if you are enjoying this topic, please give me a thumbs up here on YouTube. It really helps out a lot. So I thank you guys in advance for that support because it means a lot to me. And if you are just joining, please comment where you are from, as I would love to know. Now, the next thing associated with rapid weight loss is stretch marks. Let's talk about it for a minute. Have you ever known somebody who lost a ton of weight, but they had a ton of loose skin as a result of it? And I have seen this before. I have seen folks who have come off of very aggressive, very strict protocols, and as a result, they have a ton of loose skin. They have a ton of stretch marks. Some of it can be healed naturally, but some of it cannot. Some of it can only be addressed surgically. And you have to remember that if you lose weight at a nice, slow, and steady rate, it gives your body the opportunity to catch up with it, because the rate at which your body produces collagen, which is the connective tissue in the skin, that is going to make a very big difference on your body's internal collagen's ability to catch up with you, if that makes sense. And you don't want to do it too fast. Now, what's too fast? A safe, healthy, realistic rate of fat loss is 1 pound of body fat per week. Now, if you are over 200 pounds for a female, or I would say over 250 pounds for a man, you probably could start off with a fat loss rate of around 2 pounds per week. But for everybody else, it's going to be around 1 pound of body fat per week. And you may be like, Christine, I'm working so hard. All I get is 1 pound per week. That's kind of crazy. But guys, I'm being serious. If you want to lose weight in the fastest, safest, most practical way, losing it at a rate of 1 pound of body fat per week is going to be good, because number one, you're not going to get stretch marks. Number two, it's not going to negatively impact your metabolism. Number three, you're not going to lose muscle mass. You're not going to lose muscle mass, because just because the number on the scale is going down, it does not necessarily mean that you are losing true body fat. And I need you guys to stop being so preoccupied with that number on the scale dropping to the point that you sacrifice muscle mass. And the best way to shift this headspace and to shift your mind is when you start focusing on your measurements. I take my waist measurement, which is right about here. This is like the smallest part of my waist. Now my navel is like down here. You can also do that as well. But if you're measuring here at the smallest part of your waist, you can expect to lose on average of 1/2 inch off of the smallest part of your waist per week, if you're dialed in with your nutrition, you're weight training at least a minimum of 4 times a week, and you're getting in that 7,000 to 10,000 steps per day range. And the thing that's so important, my friends, is that it's going to take work. It's going to take consistent work. It's going to take consistent energy, and it's going to be challenging at times, because I think that when we start the new year, you go into it guns blazing. You have all this energy. It's a new year. It's going to be a new you. Hey, Wendy. Hello from Trinidad. And I think that once that new year, new me energy starts fizzling out and real life sets in, and you're frustrated with basic stuff associated with work, with life, with bills, with relationships, with family, whatever it may be, when all that stress starts coming back and you're out of that new year, new me mindset, you need to remember it's going to be what you do consistently that's going to make or break your overall results. And it's so important that you guys remember that weight loss is not worth it if you are sacrificing muscle mass. Ladies, as we age, we are losing that lean muscle mass. We are losing that muscle tissue. That muscle tissue in the body is what keeps your metabolic rate high, that allows you to burn more fat at rest. And I think that so many folks are just completely dismissing the gym. We're completely not getting enough protein. We are thinking that what we need to do is eat less and exercise more. And I cannot tell you guys how many clients I work with day in, day out that the number one thing I need to fix with their nutrition is their food intake, because they're just not eating enough of the right nutrients to allow their body to part with stored fat as a fuel source. Because the thing is, it's not about eating less, it's about eating properly. Now, who watching this is like, Christine, that's great, but I want to lose weight now. I want to lose weight fast. I feel gross. I feel disgusting. I don't like what I look like naked. I know I can do better. It's just a hot mess right now. And if that's your reality, we need to keep it real with one another, because those feelings are valid. Feeling that way is very real. I can't tell you how many people I speak to on a regular basis, recently actually, that have used the word disgusting to describe themselves, and it saddens me. It frustrates me to hear that people are using this word to describe themselves. But if that's how you feel about yourself, we need to move away from this state of self-neglect to a state of self-care. And one of the biggest things that's going to have to change is we're going to have to stop making excuses. We're going to have to stop making excuses. We're going to have to start showing up in a new way. And I am not asking you guys to push yourself to the point that you're bleeding and throwing up and sick and, working out so hard and starving and all that. That's not what I'm asking you to do. What I am saying is you need to be on a nutrition plan that is going to support positive metabolic function. And that's not going to happen when you are drastically under eating. And what happens when you drastically under eat? What happens when you drastically under eat? You end up overeating and refeeding, and as a result of that, you actually put yourself in a situation that was worse than the situation you were to begin with. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're watching this and you've been finding that year after year after year after year that your weight is just creeping up, comment me or say me or wave a hand on the comments here if you are finding that your weight is just slowly creeping up. And it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's not that you're not being mindful. But the thing is, you have to remember that the things that you did to maintain your weight 10 years ago, 15 years ago, heck, 20 years ago, it's not going to work anymore. The things that you used to do to maintain your weight, it's going to change as we get older. And that is a very unpleasant reality to face. It's very unpleasant, but we need to keep it 100 right now. And if you are enjoying this topic, I do ask that you guys to please give this video a thumbs up, as we're going to talk about what you can do instead. Felicia says, I tried using older plans, but it doesn't seem to work. And that is it's really crazy, Felicia, because our bodies are changing. Our bodies are adapting. Wendy says she came in and I was talking about not depriving yourself, but if you're insulin resistant, should you not be on low carb, high protein / fat? The answer is yes, that is a decent strategy. However, you need to remember that when you, oh boy, we have a visitor. You want to say hello? Have your 15 minutes. Here we go. This is Baby Bear, my 1-year-old puppy. He is a Rottweiler. He's a puppy. Hello, Mommy loves you. All right, you got to go bye-byes now. Mommy's working. All right. I'm giving the puppy some almond butter so he leaves me alone. There you go, bud. All right. So he's a sweetheart, but he's a pain. All right. So with that being said, yes, going higher in protein and fat and lower in carb is beneficial for insulin resistance. However, you need to time it appropriately, because your carb tolerance increases before and after weight training. So the thing is, you can definitely still consume carbohydrates if you have insulin resistance, but you need to time them post-workout or even a little bit beforehand. And it just doesn't mean that you don't eat any carbs at all. But the thing is, I think that the word deprivation has a lot of meanings for different people. So the thing is, when I say don't deprive yourself, how many of you, and real talk, how many of you know that if you look back on 2023, for instance, How many of you can honestly say that you would have had a more successful 2023 if you were on a modest caloric deficit that you maintained for 52 weeks versus trying to go in a bigger deficit for different sprints throughout the year? So meaning, let's say you went in a caloric deficit of losing half of a pound per week, but if you knew that you would be able to be more consistent with a smaller deficit over a longer period of time, would you have been better off having done that versus trying to go more aggressively in short-term sprints? And it varies person to person, and there is a time and place to focus on rapid weight loss. And the thing is, I know you guys are expecting me to say that rapid weight loss is bad. And there are negative effects to it. You can get stretch marks, you can lose muscle mass, it can jack up your metabolism. There are real challenges associated with rapid weight loss, but there's also benefits of it. The benefit is you're hyper-focused. Sometimes I find that when you are on a mission and you want to get it done, there is a way that you can be more focused in 6 to 12 weeks time if you are able to be disciplined enough to manage a reverse diet and maintain your results from there. Now, it's challenging to do, but if you are severely overweight, when I say severely overweight, what I would define that is, I would say as a female, if your waist is north of 35 inches, as a male, if your waist is north of 40 inches, I would consider that kind of being at a place where it couldn't hurt you to focus for at least 6 weeks, maybe a maximum of 12, if you know that that's what you needed to focus. Now, am I saying you should do that forever and ever? No, I am not saying that. But sometimes people need a jump start to get them focused, to get them mentally in the zone, to get them motivated, and to just get their lifestyle back on track. Because when you just lose all focus altogether across the board, it can feel impossible to reestablish that rhythm and routine. Now, with this being said, I did want to encourage you guys. I offer one-on-one online coaching, and I am hosting a winter sale right now for one-on-one online coaching, and I have a few spots available for